Lights, camera, action. On this week's show, we have someone who fell in love with the culture of hip hop at an early age, and graffiti ended up becoming one of the main pillars. The UK really caught the fever early doors, and it went from basic tagging up onto walls to these flame grilled blockbuster pieces that lit up the local landscapes. A book has just dropped called Old So Cool, which heavily documents that special, that very special time of the early 80s scene in the UK. And I'm pleased to say we have the author of the book who really has put his heart and his soul into this book. We got the one and the only Paul Pilgrim in the place. Woo! Yes, Paul.
Hey there. Okay?
Yeah, how you doing, man? You good?
Yeah, good. Very good, man.
Good. That's and it's been a long time coming with this little interview. Unfortunately, I don't get much time to do these, but when I do, we got to do them right. And it's an honour to have you on.
Thank you very much. Honoured to be on. I've watched many of your shows, and they're legendary.
Yeah, cheers, my man. And appreciate you saying that. And listen, I can't wait to talk about the book and go through some of the photos, and also talk about some of the artists that are featured in this book. It's going to be absolutely wicked. So anyone watching this, hit the subscribe button down here somewhere. Hit subscribe. Check out my other interviews. But yeah, you're going to love this because we're going to delve. We're going to be talking about this book that's just dropped. And I'll tell you what we're going to do as well, isn't it, Paul? At the end of this interview. There it goes, yeah, and I've got it in the background, look, up on the wall. What I'm going to do at the end of this interview, I'm going to be dropping a sample of maybe 20 or 30 photographs from the book with a bit of music. So whatever you do, don't go nowhere at the end of the interview and check out the photographs because they're wicked. Ready for action?
I'm good. I'm ready.
Let's fire it up. So the first sort of thing I'd love to ask you is, basically, can you give me a little bit of a background about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I originally first started painting back in 1985, so I was 15 at the time. Like a lot of the people who are probably watching this, still at school, got into graph, loved things like Beat Street, Wild Style, breakdance. And from there, I just started to, although I was involved in the music and there was breakdancing, was never a breaker, and I always knew that. So I practiced on the art side of things. And with the art, I just practiced and just developed my own style. Maybe back then I wasn't as good as many of the others that are about, but I had my heart and soul in it, and I just did what I wanted for me, not for anyone else. And I still carry that ethos this day and age, that I do things for myself. I know you always have haters out there, and as long as you please yourself, it doesn't really matter.
Exactly, 100%. And what, obviously, books like Subway Art and, documentaries like Style Wars. I mean, these were like pivotal. I mean, especially Subway Art. That was a pivotal book. Especially for us in the UK, it really captured that wicked sort of New York movement of the 80s. Was Subway Art a big inspiration to you?
Oh, massive. Things like spray can art, Subway Art, they were like my Bibles back then, and still to this day I've still got them up in the loft with all my other books, and occasionally I have a flick through because no matter how long you've had them, there's always something new that just jumps out at you, and you always will look at it in awe. So they were amazing times.
They was unbelievable times. And with Subway Art, was there a few key pieces and key artists that would kind of draw you in? You was like, wow, this is really blowing me away.
Yeah, I mean, for me, one of the main ones was probably Case. His work was awesome with the blockbuster styles. And then you got you got your scenes as well. I mean, his style was simple at times, but it was unique. So yeah, there was a lot of good characters. There was a lot of good artists in that book.
There was some amazing artists, and also some of the those early door kind of characters as well. Because obviously, we're talking blockbusters on trains. I mean, was there any wicked characters that would also stand out?
I suppose for me, the one that stands out the most is the Mickey Mouse one. I think it was on a scene piece. The Hand of Doom as well. Dondi's character.
With the Dundee character with the hand, with the light, it with the lightning coming out of it?
Yeah, yeah. There was, like I say, there was a lot of. I mean, even on some of them as well. You look at some of the pieces that weren't as great, but they still had good characters, and it was the style back then. Whereas, like, okay, there's not as much detail as what you get in today's pieces, but they still rocked it.
But listen, what we got to say is, you know, those guys in New York putting their names up on trains and the big pieces, the big blockbusters. We're not talking about a wall. We're talking about a train with electric running around you and, like, you know, the police everywhere and the danger of it. Do you know what I mean? So what they captured, what they done, and with the paint that they had was so basic. You know, they was doing amazing work on them trains.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And hats off to those guys because, you know, they put some good work up on those trains. And it's like with the book as well. Back then, there was no legal wall spaces. So people were dodging around in the night, running away from park keepers. And the paint that they had back then, because not many people were very privileged enough to have buntlack. So people used to rack the paint and it was like Parsons, Carplan, Duplicolour, which was like water. You'd have a yellow and you'd probably have to go over it about 20 times for it to be half decent. Whereas nowadays, you know, the paint's amazing this day and age. It will go on anything. But with the book, it's amazing to see what was created back then with what resources there were. That, like I say, no legal spaces, probably done in a couple of hours, in the middle of pitch black with crap paint.
Yeah, no, 100%. You know, the paint was very basic. It wasn't really until Buntlack come out, which was a game changer. But before that, your car plan and all that, it was also very basic, watered down. And the nozzles as well. There's none of this kind of high pressure cans and, you know, different nozzles that you can like spray on the walls with. It was like, you know, and for the work that these artists were coming out with were absolutely mind blowing. And I know you've captured in the book, you know, some incredible, you know, photos from that 80s era, which was, to me, the 80s era, especially the year 86 and 87, was kind of like the golden era for me of graph. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there's so many unsung heroes out there, and I know there's been previous books where they've captured artists and probably launched them into the limelight, but the thing is, every village, every town had graph artists, and everyone had their own style. And in the book, I found that there's people that I've never heard of, places I've never heard of, that have produced some amazing artwork from back then. And it's good that it's been captured just to showcase that there's more to 80s graffiti than a handful of artists that people recognise at the moment.
That's right, because you've always, you know, listened to like the main crews, and rightly so, because they was doing unbelievable pieces. But, you know, graph touched us all, and you know there were some wicked artists all over the UK doing their thing. Can you give me a sample of some, or a rundown of some of the you know, the artists that are featured in the book?
Yeah, I mean, in the book, I mean, there's everyone's favourite Pops 100, but then you've got other artists like Merck from London, you've got Score, you've got Sika, or as people may know him as Hope 2. You've got Mist One, the infamous. You've got Des, such. There's also people who were, like I say, massive back then who are no longer with us, like Era, Des Desire. There's lots of people in the book. Too many to mention, to be honest. I mean, you've got Say, you've got loads. All I can say is just go out there, get the book, and you'll see what's in there.
You got our London boys. You got the Tough Arts crew in there. You got Jump to Chris. I mean, yeah. I think you got Aztecs in there, isn't it? Big shout out to Aztec.
Yeah. I even got a sketch that I remember that Aztec did me from years and years ago, and I managed to get that in the book as well. But yeah, I've got lots of sketches because a lot of the artists as well have provided me sketches and done stuff personally for me, like Kem Vegas. Also the likes of people like John Dixon Says, Catch. So yeah, there's lots of stuff. I've got loads of artists in there, but yeah, there's people like Jump Tube that are in the book as well. Rich from No Limits. there's plenty. There's plenty in there for everyone. I know that sometimes before the book was actually launched, people were looking at it and thinking, "Oh, this guy's from the Midlands. Is it going to be a North thing? Is it going to be the Midlands?" But I've captured everywhere I possibly can. I mean, there's some areas that I couldn't, purely because I don't think there was much of a scene there, or if there was, people just didn't come forward with submissions like Ireland, Liverpool. But who knows? For a follow-up book, maybe I could recapture those areas that I missed and focus them a bit more.
Yeah, and anyone watching this, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just endless, isn't it? The amount of people, you know, it touched. You know, it touched us all. I've got to say as well, actually, a big up to the vinyl junkies as well.
Yeah. My man P.
Yeah, big up P. Yeah.
Sending me something special. I've got on the way, I believe, a nice T-shirt. But yeah, that man's got some mad styles, and you know, back in the day, he had a wicked style, and the people he hung out with, like Cast as well. They rocked some good walls back then as well.
And also, you know, the quality of this book, I've heard, I haven't seen it yet, and I need to get a copy, and I will get a copy. But I must say, the quality of this book, I've heard, is on another level. You know, it's real quality. You know, the attention to detail, and look at the cover as well. I mean, whose hand style was that? Oh, so cool.
So the hand style was my man Plague, who is a new school cat, but he's a good lad. He's down with me and the crew. So yeah, he provided us with the hand style. I've got to say a big, massive thanks to everyone at Morton's Books, because they've done an amazing job with the book, and Stephen O'Hare, who I also put the book together with. We spent a lot of time just getting every detail right, and I know that it went past the deadline day, but I'm sure that people agree that for the extra month or two that they had to wait, it was worth the wait.
And how long did it take you, you know, to put the book together? It must have obviously taken a while, because you put your heart and your soul into this book.
Yeah, I mean, many people will know that I'm old school through and through. I've got my forum on Facebook, which is 80's Old School Graffiti. I set that up back in, I think, something like 2009, with the ethos that many years ago, I lost all my photos. Like many other writers, got confiscated, and over the years, I always wanted to see them again, and I set that group up purposely in the intent of sharing a group with like-minded artists, whereby people who've got their old pictures still would hopefully post them up and their memories, and at some point I'd be able to regain some of those pictures that I lost. And to this day, I've managed to find quite a few, thanks to the group. A lot of things that I thought I would never see, I've managed to get pictures of again. But yeah, I mean, the group is something that it's got something like almost 18,000 members, and there's a lot of content shared there. But I've been constantly researching for that group. I'd say it's got to have been 20 odd years. No, about 12 years. No, I'd say about 20 years. I've been like collecting stuff and sharing in there, speaking to like-minded people. But with the book itself, I did notice, I was looking back the other day, and the first contact that I had with Stephen O'Hare at Morton's was back in April of last year. So from April till December, you're talking 8 months, and the dream then became the reality.
And with the book, is it like a limited book, or is it like, you know, is it going to just carry on being published with,
No.
you know?
It's going to be limited because I want it to be special. So it's limited to 1,500, which I think at the moment, the last count that we had Friday, there was about just under 200 that were left.
Wow. So anyone watching this, you better get on it quick, because that 200, they're going to go.
Yeah, well, we've just launched the competition only yesterday that anyone can enter, or anyone who's previously bought a book through Morton's will automatically go into the draw. And basically, anyone who's purchased a copy of the book, their name will go into a draw, and then that gets drawn out at the end of March. And what will happen then is the person who's picked out, that they'll get a canvas painted solely by myself.
Oh, wow. Wicked. Yeah. I have to get on the case, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, you have to get your audience, Steve.
No, I will do. And I was going to say, with the book, as well as it being photographs, you're also documenting a little piece of history with each artist.
Yeah, and I mean, not only have we got an image, because there'll be people out there who won't know about areas. I was like that as well. It's like I didn't know who the artist was, so I've documented basically everything in there. That the name of the person who painted it, the area of the country they painted it, and what year it was painted. So you can see the development in the styles, because we've got stuff going that's in the book that was being painted 85, 86, right up to 89. I think one of the earliest pieces in there may be 84, which I know there aren't too many of them about, but yeah, so it goes, you can just see like the development of the style over the years.
Which is really important because, back in sort of 83 and 84, the style was so basic, but as the years went on, it started to develop that like really unbelievable, wicked sort of, crazy style that would it would pop, wouldn't it? Yeah, you'd see a piece. I remember obviously, going to areas like the Westway in Ladbroke Grove, Woolwich in southeast London, Old Kent Road warehouses, South London, going into these places. And there were certain pieces, especially like the Cash piece. And under the Westway, like the Chrome Angels and Non-Stop and London Giants. I mean, London Giants as well. And you check these pieces out, and you was kind of blown away. You was like a little kid in a sweet shop, checking out the art on the walls. It was incredible.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I've managed to capture a lot of those images in the book from all those areas that you've just mentioned. So there'll be some gems in there that people never have seen, because I spoke to the artist directly. A lot of people have been able to provide me, even with sketches of like the Black Book sketch that accompanied the actual artwork that people may have seen. So yeah, with the book itself, I've tried to go with a different approach that I know that the majority of people will want to see images. So there's little bits in there that look like stickers, where you've got a bit of a feature from some of the artists who are featured in the book, which just tells you a little bit about their history as well. Just so, there's a little bit more of a story to just the pictures.
Yeah, which is really important because, just having pictures, I mean, it means a lot, but to have a little bit of a story behind the picture or the history of the artist makes it quite special. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's proving to be a special book, and it's way beyond anything that me and Steve ever imagined it would turn out to be like when we first started talking about it. It just, on Amazon, there's that many like good 5-star reviews that we've read. We keep seeing great reviews on Facebook and on Instagram. People all over the world, so not just the UK. Again, a lot of people from America, New Zealand, Australia, who they love the book, because I know a lot of people may think of graffiti being an American thing, but it's more than that. It's worldwide.
100%. It touched, in Australia, it's massive. New Zealand, South Africa. I mean, literally, it touched us all, didn't it? It touched everybody. Yeah. And, especially, to document, obviously, the UK stuff was brilliant. But it would be great to see other countries maybe documenting their own style of early work as well as a history kind of timeline, because what you've done for the UK has been absolutely fantastic. And also I've got to give a big up to people like Score as well, because Score and a few others have also been documenting this stuff for time. Do you know what I mean? They've also been doing amazing stuff.
Yeah, I've got to say thanks to people like Score as well, because they've got an amazing library of pictures. And their memory as well. I mean, they've helped me out with a lot of things, whereby I've been constantly firing images over to them at like 5 o'clock in the morning, because I've been waking up. I've been on it straight away, and I forget about the time, and then I've sent in them messages. People like Kem as well, and just asking, have you seen this before? Who was the artist? And they've supplied me. I've got a lot of people like Merck as well, Missed One. There's a lot of people behind the scenes like massively helped me get this project to where it is now.
I mean, all them artists are serious artists, I mean, they kind of, unlike me, I dabbled in it from 83 and then gave up in 85 or 86. they've carried on. They've kind of carried on with it, and they got so much passion, and they got so much knowledge of that, of the graffiti scene worldwide. I mean, they're like, I talked to Score, talked to Kilo, talked to I know Merck as well. I mean, their sort of their history and their knowledge is second to none.
Oh yeah, I mean, people who are passionate about it never forget the stuff. People like Kilo, like I say, he helped me with lots of images. Mr. D, Care from up north. There's just loads of people. Such, but yeah, when people are so passionate about it, the memories always stay with them, and like they remember everything just like it was yesterday.
And that's the important thing about these images, because that image, when you see that image for yourself, it burned into you was like, you can't forget it. You was like, wow.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, I came away from the graph scene like in the late 80s, and I think like a lot of people, the rave scene took over, and for me, I got into DJing, which is where a lot of people probably know me from DJing at places like Quest, Fantasia, and all around the country. But for me, I had that little break away from it, and it never left me. Whenever I was driving about, you'd always see little bits of graph. You'd always see
a tag. The tag, yeah.
Make it out. So it was always still there. The passion was always still there. And I think it was like early 2000s. That's when I kind of got back into it more heavily and dusted off the cans and started painting again.
No, it's wicked. And being creative, especially, for the younger generation, get out there with a can, get creative, get away from all the madness, all the negative news, and put something positive back into society, and go and pick up a pen and go and paint a wall, pick up a can and paint a wall, because there's nothing better than being creative and expressing your art and doodling and sketching. It takes you away from all that craziness that's going on.
Oh, definitely. I always say to everyone who's like, having a bit of a tough time, because we all have our own personal problems and stuff going on in life, especially as we're all older. And I say, get out and paint, because it soothes the soul. It helps you to forget about things for an hour or two. And the thing is as well, there's that many legal wall spaces about as well, that you don't have to like go out there and do something, that's just going to get you into trouble. I know that, people, each to their own. People like to do that, and it's what floats your boat. But yeah, it's a good creative source that you can channel your energy into, and just like I say, just be in your own world for a few hours.
And listen, I love this. Where did you come out? Obviously, that's from the old Kodak style film. I love that. It's brilliant idea.
Yeah, I mean, that was an idea I came up with, because with the book being about 80s graffiti, I was trying to look for something that would be easily recognisable for people to associate graffiti with the 80s. And back then, no one had mobile phones or any posh cameras. So everyone, I think, had the typical like kind of 110 camera. And 9 times out of 10, you were getting your films developed, and they were like a Kodak or a Fuji film. So I came up with the idea of the cover. I think I posted a very early image of what the book was going to look like on my Facebook page, but it was always going to feature the piece that's on there, which was from Bridlington 89, painted by Des Desire, because he was a close friend of mine and unfortunately passed away a few years ago, and I always wanted to dedicate the front of the book to him. So that's one of his pieces, which is a legendary piece. I mean, people recognise that as a big part of UK graffiti history. But yeah, that's where the idea came from, really. Just to have like the negative and the Kodak colouring and style.
And it's wicked that you got it obviously in black and white with the popping orangey yellow colour at the top with the red.
Yeah, it certainly stands out when you see the book on the shelf compared to other books.
No, it's wicked. And, where can you buy the book from? Obviously, Morton's.
Yeah, so, I mean, Morton's, that is, I would say, the best place to order it, because they're quick with delivery. It's free delivery, UK. They get it out quick when it's worldwide. It is also available on eBay as well, which there are links on my wall if anyone wants the link to get the book. It's, again, delivered out quickly, and you can get it through Amazon.
That's it in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I have basically approached paint stores, so I know there are one or two up and down the country that have got it as well. People like Graffiti, AllCity.com. So yeah, all I'd say is that if you want to see it in your local paint shop, just speak to the people behind the counter, and I'm sure they know how to order it. So yeah.
Well, Paul, what can I say? Wicked little chat. I know it's a very, very kind of brief chat, but that's all we wanted. But what I've got to say is, anyone watching this, don't go anywhere, because I'm about to drop, quite a few photographs from the book as a sample of what it's all about, isn't it, Paul?
Yes. So stay with us.
So
Because,
stay with us.
Some gems that are going to be flashed under your eyes in the next few minutes.
Some big gems, and I hope you enjoyed this little interview. I know it's short and sweet, and but believe it or not, I think it's nearly 40 minutes. So it's flown by, isn't it?
It definitely has, yeah. And also as well, there's t-shirts out as well. So if you want a t-shirt, just look on my wall, and I'm sure you can find a link for that on there as well. Some limited edition t-shirts.
And what I've got to say is a big up to every single artist around the UK and around the world doing their thing, putting their names up. Big up to you all. And listen, any of you watching, check out my interviews with Aztec, T-Kid, Scheme from the TMT, Scarf Tough Arts, Scam. There's so many. And go and check out Paul's book as well.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, before I go, just say a massive thank you to everyone that helped put this project where it is. There's just so many people, just off the top of my head, I can't remember names, but you all know who you are, and you've helped massively, contributing your submissions with images, information, old sketches, which I know is stuff that's personal to you. So I just want to say thank you to all of you. And without you, this book wouldn't be possible. And who knows, there may be a follow-up. So anyone who has got some old pictures out there, send them my way.
Paul, listen, it's been an absolute honour, my man.
No worries. It's been great speaking to you, Steve.
No, you too, mate. You too. And listen, be lucky.
All right. Nice one.
This is the transit system. They don't like it to be defaced, and they will at times try and go to the extreme and try and apprehend you. The subway system is a very old one, and I've found rooms where maps that were so old it might have been like the first train line that New York City had. Call it what you want. Just a lot of rock, a lot of steel. Tomb, dungeon, under the city. Trains, a lot of fun, a lot of art. Art that's going to be a part of New York City's history forever. Oh, wow, check it out, a whole car, man. Yo, what? Check it out, man. Yo, look at that. Yo, a lot of riders have been down here, you can tell. Graffiti all over the place. Check it out. Years ago. And this place is long.